What's up? This is a rant from the unconventional seer, yours truly, Addie Rose. Shh, can't be saying my middle name, but I like it anyway. Haha. Anyway, I've noticed a lot lately, around me in my micro system and the macro system on social media and all, that a lot of people my age, which is I'm a millennial, seem to be going through some type of level of midlife crisis. But, I can't talk for everybody, so I don't know if they are going through that, but I know that I am. And I know that I am doing a lot of self reflection. I'm like digging so deep into here, figuring out why do I behave this way? Why do other people behave that way? And why does it seem like every time I hurt somebody's feelings unintentionally? I don't mean to. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just curious. And, people they take that the wrong way. So it is what it is. So during this very deep self reflection, I've been doing probably, 6 months or longer, at least 6 months to a year or longer. I have been realizing that a lot of my stuff is created from psychological and emotional trauma. And come to also find out that a lot of parents back in the late 90s and early thousands, they didn't really understand what psychological and emotional trauma can do to a child. So, they didn't really pay attention, especially those who were like bullies and said boo-hoo feelings and stuff like that, when really that actually does physical damage to your brain. So I've been, wondering. I've been put on medications through therapy. I even went to a school that was strictly for behavioral therapy for those types of children who were out of control with their behavior. Which, me, I was out of control with my behavior. So, and to give you kind of like a little little insight, they literally focused a lot of their curriculums on therapy rather than academics. So you could say I went into there as a sophomore and came out a sophomore because it was mostly therapy. Anyway, so I'm probably throwing my age out here for you guys, so don't make fun of me. I'm not old, but I literally went out. I basically between 2006 and 2007, I was very like I don't know, I was very angry all the time, so mad, and I wanted to a lot of people and stuff, like not a lot of people, but there were quite a few, and I even came home to my mom and said that I had made a list, and I scared the bejesus out of her, I'll tell you. And just to let you know, just ahead of a time, that even the thought of trying to do that to somebody made me nauseous, physically nauseous. So when I was making that list, I got sick. So no, I couldn't do it because I don't like to cause people unethical pain. I don't like to do intentional pain. It's just not good. Okay, it doesn't make me happy. Anyway, so between 2006 and 2007, I was very, I could have been a serial murderer, just because of how I felt. And I come to a conclusion that today I wouldn't be here. I would not be here if it wasn't for the fact that my parents cared about me so much that they wanted to figure out what was going on up here in Addie's head. I didn't think that. I thought it was all torture. I thought it was all like, this is dumb. Why am I doing it? Why are they making me do this? And now I realize that if they hadn't, I would have ended up in prison or in a grave. I would have been a serial murderer or murdered myself, literally. So I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had kids. I would have never married my husband. I would have never met my husband. I would have never met anything or gone through anything that I have. So, I've always thought that there was no such things as coincidences, that things just happen out of random. And I never thought that sounded right. But then as I dug deep and did a lot of self-reflection, I noticed that a lot of things that had happened in my life that appear unfair actually had a reason behind it. Because if it didn't happen that way, then I wouldn't be here today. So it's just kind of put it in a mindset. It's all about your brain. mental blocks are movable. Physical blocks are not movable. All right? Just want to keep that clear. Mental blocks are movable. Physical blocks are not movable. Okay? So I kind of like, whenever that girl that you guys, that's all over TikTok and is so unconventional and, just is she's just, to me, she is dumber than rocks. Gypsy Rose, I remember I could resonate with her. I could resonate, not relate, resonate with her because I was also super sheltered, also controlled. I had no part of my autonomy at all because everybody thought that I could not take care of myself, so therefore they had to control me. So I made a list, guys. Come on, I made a list. I'm pretty sure a lot of us did. And so, but I never acted out on them. I never acted out on them. Okay? I mean, come on, I made my mom scared, but I never acted out on them. So that's why it makes me like think about this a little bit. And I'm like, well, I am the other side of the coin when it comes to Gypsy Rose. Of how she did it, and now look at where she's at. And I didn't do it, and look at where I'm at. She's trying to have the time of her life while she's in this public prison, and I'm out here, still oppressed and suffering, but I have a family, I have a house, I have everybody who loves me and takes care of me, and I'm not in the public eye. Well, not yet, but I'm not in the public eye. Like, seriously, this is getting ridiculous. Like, I actually, every time I see a video of Gypsy Rose, I laugh. Because it's like, haha, she's not in a physical prison, but she certainly is in a publicity one because she can't do anything without getting, woo, 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 alert, alert, she's on the radar. Because literally, she cannot make bad decisions and it not get posted all over. And I don't feel bad for her. Heck no, I don't feel bad for her. She made a decision. She went through with something that a lot of us felt like, okay? So I don't understand why she thinks that she's a victim when really the day that she did what she did, she turned into a villain. She turned into a villain. So, just to let you guys know, I would have never been here if it wasn't for the steps that we're taking because of how much my parents cared. Okay? And the fact that, there's people out there that don't realize that their parents care that much and think that they're being controlled and that their autonomy is being stolen from them. And then they think that the only resort to go to is to off people. That is so insane. So, I just wanted to let you guys know that's how I feel. I know a lot of us are going through midlife crises. I know a lot of us are feeling down and outs and, feeling like, this is all unfair, which is, I agree. It is unfair. A lot of this stuff in America is unfair. But you got to remember, America's really young. Compared to all other governing systems in this world, America is the youngest. We're the baby. Okay? So that is literally how I see it. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is you see this. And follow me if you can. All right. Bye.